Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I got a email sort of question from a 14-year-old developer or subscriber to the YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure he's doing software development. Maybe not, though. I mean, there's a lot of you now that subscribe to his channel that don't do software development. A lot of you are saying, hey, John, you should make this channel really not just a software development channel. You'd have more subscribers. I don't know. Yeah, probably. We'll see. But right now, there'll be an opportunity to expand into the larger space at some point, and I'll do that, once the opportunity appears. But I'm not going to force it right now. So I'm happy with the growth. Thank you all for subscribing. We're almost at like 50,000 subscribers at this point. So we're doing good. There's no need to get all crazy here. As long as I'm helping people and we're spreading the message and we've got a positive message. I do need a name for the simple programmer community. What do we call ourselves? We'll have to figure out something like that. But anyway, for you youngins, I thought I would answer this question here. I get a lot of questions from surprisingly young developers, which, I just want to say, make sure my mic is not rubbing here, that it's pretty cool if you're a young developer, if you're like 14, 15, 16, even in high school age, and you're you already have the mindset that you're listening to these videos, right? You're already doing these things, right? You have this mindset that, man, I didn't figure out until late 20s, maybe early 30s, even recently my mind has been blown, right? So amazing. First of all, congratulations. I hope that you exceed me in every way possible. And I mean that. So let's see. Hi, John. I'm a fan of you. I want to be on the level of your understanding of career and willpower. I want to be like you. The reason of this is that I know I can be. I am 14 years old and have been following you for a year. You have the biggest influence on me, and I'm glad of it. For such a young man like me, a leader is essential. There is 2 paths I can go with this email. And this is actually a response to one of my emails that went out where I asked, why didn't you purchase How to Market Yourself as a Software Developer? So I'll skip that part. He says, obviously he's 14. His parents aren't going to let him buy, How to Market Yourself as a Software Developer. But you should buy it if you have the money, anyway, so it's the whole. So he says here, so he's got a question I want to ask you about. It's the whole concept of being young with the way of seeing the world I do. I didn't take the chance because I feel like I have no control on my life. I do what other kids do, but try to do the best way for my own sake. Best grades, doing exercise every day, like running 7 to 8 kilometers without pause, cool. Read books, treat people the way Carnegie said. Thank you for recommending the book. He's talking about the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I still highly recommend that book. By the way, I do have a playlist for college, and I should probably, I don't know if we'll divide it up into a high school one, but definitely college stuff for those of you that are wondering about education. Might be in the same kind of areas as this email. Anyway, he says that, and the number one, and be the one different out of the 500. So I think it means out of the students in his high school here. I feel like I'm constantly preparing and never feel the fulfillment. I feel like I'm wasting my time, but not doing enough, but I am so exhausted. So I'm going to address that, definitely. That's something that happens. It happens to everyone, right? Especially when you're really eager and you're young. My point is that I don't feel like anything will make a big shift in my life. I've just started high school. How big of a problem is that there's no student I want to talk with? They always talk about video games. I try to make jokes. I can barely find any of them funny. I talk about things I can believe they care about. Haven't heard them talking about plans, serious issues, ideas to solve problems. They're just kids for me. This is a problem. It's an issue, but I don't think it's an issue, but it's not a problem. Okay. To be honest, I'm writing for about 1.5 hours, and it's 2:20 a.m. I can't compose this email I wanted at the beginning. I think it's totally fine, dude. So what's your opinion so far? Do you think I have what is needed to be like you? Do you say what I want to hear, please. Don't say just what I want to hear, please. I need an honest opinion from someone who understands why I do what I do. I'm so happy to have you guide so many people. Answer anytime you feel like. I hope I've said something helpful, interesting to help others, help you help others like me. With all sincerity, thank you for reading this horribly formalized and grammatically injured mail. So, wow, I mean, gosh, you've got so much figured out. I wish I were you. I wish I were 14 and had the world open up to me. And you know, I mean, you're in such a vantage point. I just want you to understand, first of all, that knowing what you know now, having this perspective, the world is so widely open to you that you don't even know at this point. So I'm going to address some of your issues, but I want you to understand that you're so far light years ahead, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Okay, so let's address some of these things point by point here. So let's see. The first one I want to talk about is I feel like I'm constantly preparing and never feel fulfillment. I feel like I'm wasting my time, not doing enough, but I am so exhausted. So, yes, you're doing a lot of preparing. Yes, fulfillment, you know, fulfillment comes, right? It's really young. You're really young right now. It's really young. You're really young right now. You're not wasting your time. You always feel like you're not doing enough, right? And you're exhausted. So there's a couple of things here. One, just make sure, right? And I had to re-true this in myself, that the time that you are spending focused on efforts, on work, on what you're trying to do and trying to move the ball forward is very focused and not interrupted, and that you chunk out that time, right? So one thing I did today that I'm trying this week, an experiment, is that I'm saying like, okay, look, I am going to work until 12 every day. I'm going to work from 7 a.m. till 12, but I'm going to work hard during that block of time, and I'm just going to get Pomodoros done. If you're interested, you can see how I plan my week. This video, if you want to know what I'm talking about. But essentially, I'm going to stop at noon, and so I'm forcing myself to compress that time. It'll give me a little bit of relaxation as well before I do my workout at 3 and give me a little bit of a buffer. Instead, what I was doing before that was I was working until right up till 3, sometimes over and past 3, and then I would also like work in the evening and get email, and it was just, I was always working, but I wasn't getting as much done. I've gotten more done today, honestly, by doing that, by being focused like that, than I have in probably all of last week, honestly, to be totally honest. And I used to be really, really productive, and somehow I lost that, right? And because I stopped attaching the rigor. So what I'll say about that is you'll feel more fulfilled, okay? And I'm gonna stop this little ding on my Pomodoro is going off, so I'm gonna just bounce right into the next one here because I'm recording videos, so. All right, so anyway, what I'm saying here is this. So if you do that, right, and you're focused, you're going to feel more fulfilled, because procrastination makes you feel like crap, and when you like waste time, it makes you feel like crap. You're probably doing enough, right? I mean, you're 14, whatever you're doing, like you're running, you're reading. I mean, you read Dale Carnegie's book already. Like you're doing all this stuff, especially if you're following the channel and you're doing what I recommend. So you're definitely doing enough. It's just that you might be spreading it out too much. Like, come up with the plan of what you want to do, and then execute on that plan and do that. And do it in the compressed time, in the time period, and then give yourself some freedom and some free time as well. Don't just like let it fill your entire day. If it does, then you're going to feel like you're never getting enough done, but you feel exhausted, right? And I'm totally relating to this because this is how I felt for the last few weeks, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, I had two options in front of me. I was like, should I quit everything and just go on a break? Or should I add more discipline? And it's kind of funny. There's actually this book called Extreme Ownership that I just read. I'll do a review on it. But he talks about, Jocko, I think his name is, he was a Navy SEAL, and he talks about freedom through discipline. Quite a interesting thing, but it's so true, because when you are super disciplined, you actually have more freedom. And like I said, compressing your time and making sure that you're focused when you're working, that means that you actually end up having more time and you feel better. You feel less exhausted, right? So This is a really important concept. Also, don't stress yourself out too much. You are making progress. You've got the whole world ahead of you. You're way early on, right? Do what you need to get done. And so I'm going to kind of segue this into the next point here. He says here, my point is that I don't feel like anything will make a big shift in my life. I've just started high school. Okay. It takes time, right? What you're doing now, you don't even realize what the cumulative effort's going to be. By the time that you graduate high school, if you keep on the clip that you're going, doing the stuff that I'm talking about in these videos, this kind of mindset, reading those books, right? Not playing video games like your peers and doing stupid stuff, but actually really focusing on improving your life, whatever path you're going on, learning software development and, playing with the big boys, right? I mean, I'm considering you a peer, right? You're 14 and I'm considering you a peer because that's how you're thinking and I'm treating you that way. And there's plenty of other people that will treat you that way even though you're young. And so it's amazing what you're doing. It's amazing. And if you keep doing that, okay, in 4 years, you're going to be so far ahead. Right now you can't see it because I don't know how long you've been following me for a year. You said you've been implementing some of this stuff. But I am telling you, this cumulative effect is amazing. It really is. In fact, I'll recommend a book on it by Dan Hardy. I actually did a review on this one. It's called The Cumulative Effect, right? So you can check out that book review. I also talked about this concept. I called it the knife's edge, I believe. You can check out my video on that and, just understand that that's going to happen. Don't worry, you are going to make a big shift in your life. You just don't see it yet. But if you keep going, you keep running, you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to see that over time. I promise you. The cumulative effect is extremely powerful. Like I said, read that book and you'll get what I'm saying. Okay, now, you said here that I have just started high school. How big of a problem is that there's no student I want to talk with? They always talk about video games, right? And and then you say they're just kids to you. Totally agree. That's totally fine. You know what? Too much emphasis is placed on peer groups at a younger age, I think. When we're kids, it's like, oh, we need to have friends, oh, we need to have social lives now. Especially in school, it's all forced. Like, yes, you have to have social skills, right? You're going to develop those with Dale Carnegie and How to Win Friends and Influence People, but you don't need to have it with your peer group that you're going to mature out of, right? There's no benefit in life. Like, learn how to interact with adults. That's what you're doing, right? I just said that I consider you to be a peer level to me because of the way that you're thinking and what you're talking about. That's fine. Develop those skills. Don't worry about the people that you've already passed in maturity. You don't need to drop down your maturity level in order to be friends with them. I'm sorry. I mean, it's going to be a little bit lonely, right? And that might kind of suck. But this is a period in your life, a short period in your life. There's a small sacrifice here in not having I don't know, does anyone have a great high school experience? Okay, maybe the jocks and whatever cheerleaders, but then they cause problems in their life. It's not worth it. Now, college might be a little bit different, but you should be able to find peer groups there if you do go to college. Anyway, my point is this. Find the people that are at the maturity level that you're at, and those are going to be probably adults, right? People, entrepreneurs. Find entrepreneurial groups. Find the people that you can hang out with. Don't worry. I mean, with your high school friends and stuff, I'm not saying don't make friends, but don't lower your maturity level. If you find someone that thinks like you or is similar, that's fine. Or some friends to just hang out and play video games, or if you want to do that some, and you can give yourself permission to have a little bit of fun too, right? Okay, but don't be frustrated by that. It's okay. It's okay not to have a social life going through school, not have that force. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but it's okay because the social elements that are going to matter in your life are going to be the adult relationships, and if you're focusing on that and learning how to interact with adults now, that's great. So let me see if there's anything else in here that I want to talk to. I think that's it. Great job. Keep going. Don't worry. You know, you're so far ahead, you've got so much opportunity in front of you. Recognize that, you know, and you're going to make mistakes along the way. That's fine. But just, again, recognize the power of the cumulative effect. What you're doing now, you may not feel like it's moving the needle. You may not feel like it's making a difference. You may feel like an outcast. You may feel all these social pressures. But you know the truth. Your eyes are open. You've been awakened. Use that. Trust it. Trust the process. Trust what you're doing, and you're going to see results, and it's going to be worth it. And for the fulfillment side, like I said, don't spread out your work all throughout the day. I was making this, I'm telling you now, this is timely because I've been making this mistake, and I've decided to stop making that mistake, and already it's benefiting me. So I hope that helps you. If you like this video, definitely click the subscribe button below, and you can get the videos I do. You know, I do like 2 to 3 a day. And if you're already subscribed, a thumbs up is always helpful. If you feel like this can help anyone, you know, share the video out. I definitely appreciate that. Definitely trying to grow the channel. And I will talk to you next time. Take care.